Crypto Night and Ken. Dun, 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 dun. Welcome, everybody. Are we live? Tim's playing
with the little red
things.
button for it. But
Oh.
do you have the same disease Ryan has? I mean, geez. My God.
Hi, Ryan.
The little red button says we're live. Do you guys get the little red button, or is it just us?
Oh, stop.
Yeah, I see it. It says EVIL, right?
Jeez. Oh, jeez. So we got Ken in the house tonight. We got Haas from Haas Hodls in the house tonight. And, of course, we got Ryan from the HiRye channel. How are you guys?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, it's been a good week.
That's good. Tim, are you purposely trying to blow my head off? He's such a jokester. Anyways, it's been a good week for you. Haas, you've only been back to work for what? 2 days?
No, I've been back for... Oh, well, yeah, I guess it was a long weekend. Yeah, this is the second day back for this week. I mean, like, I have a lot going on, so it's been pretty busy. But that's work. I don't want to think about work. Just think about crypto right now. So
there you go.
Right.
Love
That's
it.
right.
Love
That's
it.
Right. That's
and
right.
and Ken, you had a busy week this week after the long weekend. Were you busy at work?
Yeah, I didn't get done till 7 tonight.
Wow.
Rough.
I'm sure. And so you're excited to talk about crypto tonight.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Oh no!
Oh yeah,
What's that all about?
we got some serious stuff happening tomorrow. I saw. Haas, I didn't get a chance to see what we're going to talk about that you did today. So, I mean, as much as you can explain without giving the cookies away tonight, you know. I mean,
yeah, you were talking about Cardano.
No.
So there's a couple of things that I was talking about. Cardano, Ethereum, the EIP 1559, and like I talked about that earlier today. Video just dropped maybe like 2 hours ago.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, we didn't see that one. We saw the other one that you did. So we'll get it. We'll get into a little bit of that. And Ryan, you good? You're on mute, my friend. This is the quote of 2021. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, for sure. The Zoom
Silence bastard.
Is it me?
I can't hear you.
Hang on. No, I'm pushing. You're on mute. It must be on your end, buddy. Like I'm pushing on mute on my side. Oh, there. Go.
No.
I swear to God, you're not on mute on my side.
And he didn't pee on the microphone and short it, did he?
Okay.
Are you plugged in?
There you go.
Oh.
Because of all the settings that I have preset with my new OBS setup or whatever, it's
I know.
swapping over. It's freaking annoying. Anyway,
had a quick
good week.
tutorial
Good
on
week.
that.
Everything's good. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat too. I can see Candace and Journey, our newlyweds in the house, and it looks like Len is here.
It's not Candace and Journey. It's Journey is the newlywed. That's how freaking rumors start.
Candace and Journey are not together.
But the way you said it.
I understand. I apologize.
Moving
Gary's
on.
in the house, and
Len.
Debbie's here. Hey, Debbie, and Len, and who else have we got? I thought. Oh, Redbeard's here. Tim. I could tell Tim and I are going to have a fight, and now you got me stuck. We're having troubles. Anyways. Sorry, I would like to scroll up and say hi to everybody, but I can't get the thing going, and Tim's not being very helpful. So welcome. Lots and lots to talk about. Tomorrow's a big day, and with ETH going into the hard fork happening tomorrow.
London hard fork. EIP 1559. Do you believe it's going to actually happen?
Yeah.
It says it's on track. Totally.
It's absolutely going to happen.
Yeah. The reason I sent you that link earlier today, Tim, was because I've ever heard of 1559, and then those other am I on mute?
You just up a bit if you can bring your volume up just a smidge. You're really low on my end.
Okay.
I don't know if it's possible.
If we can go over that article that I sent you and then ask what Haas is thinking at some point tonight.
Have you got the article on your end?
It's on bitcoin.com. I do. It's just with respect to like the difficulty bomb, I think it's called, and all that kind of stuff that I have never heard about. But it was in that link I sent you. I can bring it up here in a minute.
Yeah, no, wait a minute. No, Shakepay.
Here, I have it. I'll send it in the private chat.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Okay.
bomb is to stop 51% attack or whatever it is.
Oh, really?
To stop anybody from forking Ethereum chain again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the big thing, like I guess, like I'll kind
Because
of.
they're afraid it's going to happen, right? Because all the miners are freaking pissed.
Well, I'll give a preliminary for people watching because I've seen Gary already asked, what is EIP 1559? So a brief synopsis. So I'm not going to spoil anything in the article. But essentially, it's changing the fee structure. So a lot of the fees aren't going to the miners; it's getting burnt, which makes Ethereum a deflationary asset. And the miners are kind of scared about this, rightfully so, because everything that has happened in Ethereum lately has been at the governance of whatever the miners want, essentially just making them more money, which is obviously not the goal of Ethereum. So the London hard fork is going to be well received in the long term, but right now there's some FUD and people scared about the obvious change.
So do you think that means our price is going to go down, or?
I think what we're going to see on August 5th, which is when the block should be mined, and that's when the system rolls over into the update, we're just going to see a hell of a lot of volatility. Everything that's happened in the last week, like if you look at the last week, Ethereum's just gone up and Bitcoin kind of went up to 42, and then got rejected. So there was a clear dip in Bitcoin, but not a clear dip in Ethereum. So I can probably assume that is because of EIP 1559, the news aspect. Anything that we see on the 5th is just going to be trading volatility, people just trading the news. But long term, this is going to increase the value of Ethereum. There's no doubt about it, how that's going to work. Whether or not it's going to drop in the short term, it's really irrelevant, and I don't think it'll drop much.
So, Haz, this is kind of what I was talking to Tim briefly about earlier. I can just read it because it's probably 10 times easier. But it just says for 2 seconds here, the EIP is included in tomorrow's upgrade. You just mentioned EIP 1559. But then there's 4 others that I didn't even know were part of it. I never heard of anything. So I'm just going to ask you real quick, almost like rapid fire, but if you know anything about it or what the relevance is, because this is about as simple as I've read it so far, but I'm still not really understanding what it is. But okay, so EIP 3198 is basically an opcode that gives the EVM access to the block-based fee. Does that make any sense?
The EVM, I'm assuming that's Ethereum virtual machine. And sorry, can you repeat the last part?
It says basically this EIP adds an opcode that gives the EVM access to the block's base fee.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm just asking because I have
for sure.
absolutely no idea what the rest of these mean.
For anyone listening,
that sounds like it might be able to cause the base fee to go up and down during high traffic volume.
It could be because right now miners are in control of the fees. Essentially, is how I understand it. So maybe it's like an automated version. I wouldn't have, but like EVM or EMV is the Ethereum or EVM Ethereum virtual machine. So it's stuff that like Gavin Wood worked on back when he built Ethereum. That's that engine that runs the whole system.
Okay. The next one is this one says it's EIP 3529. It removes gas funds for self-destruct and reduces gas refunds for store to lower level where the refunds are still sustainable, but they're no longer high enough for current exploits of refund mechanism to be viable. I'm reading this today, and I mean, I was like, okay, this I got to check with Haz and the crew on because I'd never heard of any of these EIPs.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know there is a self-destruct feature, but I can't remember exactly where it's implemented or how it works. I feel like I heard of Vitalik using some sort of self-destruct at some point, but I don't know what the mechanism does, and whether it just deletes Ethereum, which I highly doubt that's truly what it does. But I'm assuming that those updates are just kind of bringing in line the fee structure going forward. Because they're trying to minimize all the slippage that we're experiencing on the Ethereum network. So most likely that's what that update's for. But again, I don't have full technical knowledge about that one.
Okay, and then the next two, basically one was just an obvious one, not even worth going over, but just starting fresh on 2.0. I guess it's a summary on this one, it says. The next one, though, the last one, the difficulty bomb delay that you guys were kind of going over, delayed till December 1st, 2021. Anyway, I didn't even know what that was. Never heard of that term before in my life before seeing that article today. But
You know what's interesting is that I get a one-page sort of summary from CoinGecko every day, and the one thing that I was going to add in tonight, as we're talking about 51%, is BSV suffers a massive 51% attack. So Bitcoin SV was exposed to a severe 51% attack, with up to 3 versions of the chain being mined at the same time, according to Coin Metrics.
That was Satoshi's vision, right? That's what everyone claims it is. BSV. I'm pretty sure everyone's like, oh yeah, that's Satoshi's vision. See, that's why you don't trust a deity that just like peace on the community and brought everything into light. There's going to be problems with forks like that. So
yeah, no,
buy Bitcoin, boys.
What's that?
I said just buy Bitcoin. Don't buy a fork.
That's right. And the Canadian Bitcoiners are saying BSV is absolute garbage. Yeah. So and Nikki agrees, which is great.
Like
I wanted to say
I don't get it.
That's right. I want to say hi to Kyle and hi to Mark. Everybody's here in the house tonight. And I think wasn't Panda. How do you get this thing up again, Tim? Can you move? I want to see the comments up, please. Sorry, guys. No.
Well, Panda thinks we're still in a downward trend. This is why I'm just going to quote his comment. We're still in a downward trend. This is why DCA will always win, because no one knows what's going on. So he believes it's in a downward trend. I assume he's talking about ETH, because that's what we've been talking about before.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
You could be talking about the total crypto market cap too, because if you think about it, and I've been kind of saying this too, everyone's like super bullish about crypto right now. Bitcoin's still not above like certain big levels to be bullish, right? And everyone's like super hype about it. Bitcoin can still go further down. So he does make a good point, is the market's not really out of the woods just yet. Like DCA is clearly your friend, and it's still a buying opportunity for a lot of coins right now, including Bitcoin. So
yeah,
it's interesting to watch some of these people on like the big guys on YouTubes and stuff, and what I'm hearing more, and I guess it's just because like if everyone wants to know what I'm doing, I've actually who was it on this show that said that you could only withdraw $1,300 a day from Binance, or was I hear that in my sleep?
It says 0.02, I believe. 0.02 Bitcoin worth.
Bitcoin, okay.
Around 20, between 2,000 and 3,000 right now, depending what Bitcoin.
Oh, okay. Because I've been slowly moving my stuff off of Binance to I've just got to do something with Daedalus, and then I'm moving stuff over to my Atomic, and then I'm moving everything over to, and then I'll eventually put it onto my Ledger X, which I still have to crack the seal on. But I'm hearing more and more on the casts and stuff of how many coin, like the Ethereum, especially the Ethereum and the Bitcoin, are coming off the exchanges and going into storage. Right?
Yeah. You're hearing a lot of that narrative with Bitcoin right now. I don't have the on-chain statistics for Ethereum though. I'm going to look that up tonight, because I'd be interested to know, especially with miners right now losing a lot of their mining capability. Are they going to dump? Is Ethereum going to go through a drop, or is the price going to hold? Are miners just going to simply hold for the long term? And like, what are exchanges looking like? Is it looking similar to what Bitcoin's doing right now? Because a lot of Bitcoin is leaving exchanges for good reason. Again, now is the time to buy. Now's not the time to get ready to be rich tomorrow.
Right.
No, I'm hearing from a lot of miners that they're just going to keep their ETH. They're just going to bank it, and they're just going to swap to another coin.
That's what I would assume that most will do. But, I mean, like, you never know, especially with the Chinese miners. Ultimately, I think they're just in it for the money. And it seems like a lot of them were really quick to just sell everything and get the hell out of China when the regulations started coming. So I don't know what they'll do. I think they're very calculated about, okay, price is up, we sell, right? Like, that's just how it works. But who knows?
Yeah. And so before we jump off of ETH for a moment, it looks like Sukan had made a comment when we were talking about Ethereum. He said 64% of the network is set and the rest will be done in 2 to 3 days. Is that what you meant, Sukan, as it was for Ethereum? And
the nodes, because their nodes have to update for 2.0, and most of the network's done updating. I think that was even mentioned in the article I sent to Tim too. Like, I think that
I
exactly.
did start reading it, and some of it just got way too technical. And
that's why, like, everyone wondered because the London hard fork was said coming out on August 4th, right? And I even discussed this on the channel. Just because it says August 4th, it's on a specific block when that specific block is mined. So the system doesn't turn over until all that's happened. So that's why it's, maybe August 4th. It's not, the team isn't done or it's delayed. It's just we got to wait.
Yeah, he's saying it was the dip for 15.59. Thanks, Sukan. And
do you mind if we address Gary Matthews' comment right above Sukan there? Just because,
100%.
okay, so it's 100% safe to leave your coins. Absolutely. I would do it in a heartbeat. If I had a little bit more money, like I'm going to be using it again, 100%. But funny thing is, in trying to take, I am still using it because in trying to take out a chunk, my last little bit of Bitcoin to just keep it, like the interest and yada, yada, to keep it in my Shakepay for such a minimal, and I mean less than $500, they required photo ID update. Okay. Something they've never done. I've done withdrawals from Block. I swear I can show you the email. I can't get it out of BlockFi because I don't have my updated ID from the government right now. So it's going to be stuck in BlockFi for, I don't know, God knows how long. But not that it's a bad thing. It's totally freaking safe to leave it there, like 100%. But
was that because they're focusing? No, but is that because they're
leaving BlockFi?
Or is that because their regulations on know your customer is getting tougher and tougher?
It's KYC and AML, and if you see every crypto exchange and every wallet is scrambling to get that in place right now because they're all behind the ball. So
they're afraid the big bad SEC is going to come after them, which they are.
Well, not only the SEC, the OSC, the Ontario Securities Commission, is also cracked down.
Because they did that for me my very first withdrawal, and I thought that was fair. And then they never did it again after that for, a couple after that, every time I'd switch in and out kind of thing. Don't ask me why I did it, but there was one free withdrawal a month. Anyway, they never did it. And then now they start doing it again. I just thought the timing of it was really odd.
I will say it can seem like that, but like working directly in an insurance company, I guess I'm just leaking what I do. I work a lot with regulations, including AML, KYC, anti-money laundering, and anti-terrorism legislation. Like they're required under Canadian law, at least here, and I know in the States it's the exact same thing. They're required under law every year to kind of update this information, to keep that information updated anytime they're completing a transaction. Like anytime somebody like transfers a policy, that requires, like, we need your updated license. We need this. We need, you know what I mean? Like
all I'm thinking though is like the one thing that BlockFi had going against it was how long it took to have access to funds if you wanted to have access, kind of thing. And now this is just one other layer, because I didn't even get that email for that app, whatever it is that checks your government ID. I didn't even get that till the next day. And then I don't know, it was predicting till August 8th I wouldn't get my money. And well, that's a long time really to wait. So I don't know. BlockFi,
and see, for me, that almost gives me
yeah,
I don't know. I feel safe when they're taking security measures like that, and they're being cautious.
It's really locked though now.
Yeah, like, I get the frustration that you're going through, but like these are growing pains that every company is going through, and like it's shitty. Your situation like that sucks, right? Because you don't have like control over your crypto, and a lot of people would say, "Not your keys, not your crypto," right? And I mean that's a fair point to some of those people. I get it. I mean, like I have 2 ledgers, right here, sitting right on my desk. Like there's a reason why I have 2 ledgers. That being said, I also keep a healthy amount of crypto in BlockFi Celsius, right? Like it's just, I don't know. It does. All that tells me is that my crypto that's in BlockFi and my crypto that's in Celsius, and these companies that are going for these stringent regulations, making sure that they know who their customer is, that makes me more secure that my funds are with them. Personally, I get that you're where your position is.
Yeah, no, I love BlockFi. Just the timing aspect of a withdrawal, really wish it was better, but whatever.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of with Haas on that one. It makes me feel like, okay, there's hoops. I'm aware that there's hoops. If I want to get things out, I got to plan ahead, which to your point, Ryan, if you don't want to have it just sitting there, I don't have any intention of doing anything for the moment. So I'm okay. And I'll know now because of your experience that if I need it, I got to plan ahead. That's it.
Well, and it's more just like there's a difference between you guys at almost 1.5 Bitcoin and me at very little in comparison, especially now with only a few, like really less than $500 on there. It's like for the pennies I'm making now, I'm locked into Block. So it's BlockFi makes sense to me. I just don't have enough cash to really set
Make
that
it worthwhile. Yeah. Len's wondering, Haas, have you ever used Ledden? And if so, what are your thoughts on it?
I'm not quite sure what that is.
So Ledden basically is a Canadian company. Len Joy had done a interview, and I'm not going to butcher that, Len, because I forget who the person was. He was fairly high up, very high up there. But it is a similar parallel, but a Canadian version of BlockFi. However, if memory serves, they only deal with Bitcoin and US dollars at this point. However, I believe that their APY on Bitcoin, if for like 1 to 2 Bitcoin, is much higher than what you're getting for on BlockFi. And Len, I would move mine over to Ledden, except I hold a little bit of Ethereum on BlockFi as well as Bitcoin, so I'm making the interest on both, whereas Ledden would tie my hands only to Bitcoin.
And Len said it's Mario Gibney.
Right, and I don't know what his position is there.
And he says it's up to 8.5%, if he recalls.
So correctly. Just looking at the chart right now, Bitcoin is at 6.1%, which is actually higher than Celsius, which I love Celsius. But that's like I think that's the highest APY that I see right now. So 6.1. I don't know how long they'll maintain that, but that's a pretty good APY. And then 8.5 for USDC stablecoin, which I like the fact that it's USDC and not USDT, because if anyone knows, right now Tether is a huge scam, and if well, that's a whole nother deal for another day. But
I wanted to just point out. Dalge has been saying that he started to transfer to his Keto line. I clicked on
that's
Keto
why you
line.
don't touch the buttons.
Anyways, he just says he's entered. I started to transfer to Ledger Nano X coins. I want to buy and hold, keep them safeguarded, and we've been doing that too. Thanks to Haas, he walked Tim through that on the weekend. So
not the Ledger.
Not the Ledger.
So I opened up a Daedalus. My God, it took like a full day.
It takes a while. Yeah, because it's updating the whole node, right?
Wow. And so that's why I was asking, and I think Len, back up in the comments, don't scroll back up, had said that it was around like $3,000 a day, which is what I was thinking he was referring to for transferring out. So first thing this morning, I went to my ADA because I wanted to put it over to the Daedalus, and it wouldn't let me do it.
For real? What happened?
Yeah, I don't know. Normally when I'm coming out of Binance, it says, okay, where are you sending it to? And then it says, oh yeah, we identify that that's an equal address and no problem, blah, 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 blah. And then, I don't know if you're familiar with Binance, but you get to the point where it's like, how much do you want to transfer out? Amount or maximum? And for everything else I'd done up to date, I had done maximum. No problem, right? Like I did my XRP over to Atomic, and it was like seconds, and it cost me for that transfer 0.25 XRP to do that, which was like ridiculously cheap.
It's still a lot of XRP, because if you think about it, the network fee is 0.02, so Binance is taking a huge chunk.
I know, but it was in the moment. It was like,
of course.
And listen, he was very excited. There was a lot of excitement going on here.
That's okay. I'm done.
Okay, good. Nicholas says he just made his first $500 to ETH trade just now. Good move. He's questioning that.
Well, it's his first step into crypto, so he's getting into this space. He's done it. It's just, Nick, careful with the fact that you're excited just alongside everyone else right now, and that's exactly what happened last time. Everyone bought into hype, but he's obviously dipping his toes in the water. So
If you come in with a long-term mentality and not a trader mentality, right? Like you're not coming here for quick. I mean, like go trade crypto if that's what you want to do. If that's what gets your rocks off. But if you come in here with like, hey, I'm looking at like maybe 5 years down the road or even 2 years down the road, you're gonna be just fine. If you're one of those people like, oh yeah, I want to be a millionaire next month. Okay, well, like, not happening, bro.
Those days are gone.
Yeah, and he's saying, would you recommend NDAX? I'm not sure I know what NDAX.
I hear it's a good Canadian exchange, actually. I haven't used it personally, but I mean, like, alternatives for Binance right now. So.
And the other thing, just going back to Ledden for a minute, Ledden and BlockFi use the same custodians for their coins, and that is Gemini.
That's true. Now, Madison has said she currently holds her coins on Wealthsimple. Would you recommend switching to a different platform? I know this comes up all the time. And of course, Len jumps in, and his response is Shakepay is where he would hold it. Shakepay all the way. It's the best exchange out there. Oh, he's responding to Nicholas. But for Madison with her question, on Wealthsimple. Again, I think that the panel would say not your
keys.
Good. I love when you finish my sentences.
Well,
why don't you just keep going, honey?
If she's even confident enough to really be considering switching off of Wealthsimple. She's past the beginner phase, obviously. Very intrigued in the convo. She's been here all the time. It's probably time now to maybe start buying on Shakepay and transferring to a wallet. But I think we've said it all 100 times because there is a place for the newbie on Wealthsimple or the swing trader every day. Like there's a place for it regardless. But if it sounds like she's ready to do it and just wants us to tell her go buy the real coin.
There's places that you can like earn a yield, right? And there's places like there's other things that you can do with your tokens, whether you want to get into like governance structures or playing around with systems, making a yield in different applications, or just sitting it in BlockFi and making an interest. And yeah, you don't actually own the stuff in Wealthsimple. But what I would say is Wealthsimple is really good at introducing crypto to people. And it's great, just like Rye said, it's great that you're at this point and you're ready to move on. So I would say take that step and move away from Wealthsimple at this point. I mean, I don't hold crypto in Wealthsimple. That's because I know of like all the different platforms to do it. But it's a really great platform for anyone that's just used to buying stocks and is able to dip their toes into crypto.
Yeah, and Dulge says he uses NDAX with no issues at all. And Mark had mentioned here that if anybody wants a detailed instructions on how to use the Daedalus, go to Digital Asset News. That's Dan has got a whole bunch of instructional videos. Haz, have you done an instructional video on the Daedalus yet?
Not on making a Daedalus wallet. No.
Okay.
I tend to not because there's a lot of like blurring out, or I have to like do a whole new node on a new computer. But I'm sure I'll get around to things like that eventually. Yeah,
and Sukan has said why is this delayed? He says he's seen himself evolving from Shakepay to BlockFi and now to Ledger. So it is a journey, and I think that's what we would all agree. We've all been on a journey. Even you, Haz, started at some point and had to learn all the different systems. Ken, you've been doing this a long time too. You've taught on all of these platforms and things, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. Things have evolved quite a bit though, because wallets are not like how they used to be. Way back when, a wallet, all you'd need is the actual DAT file, and you could install a wallet on another computer and you just replace that DAT file. Once it syncs, then all your coins are there. It doesn't do it like that no more. You got all these multi-sig wallets now, which are more secure than doing it that way.
Yeah, that's like those. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Haz. Keep going.
No, I was just gonna say, like in the old, like I was around, but like I wasn't at the same time. Like I bought a little bit of like Bitcoin to make a transaction way back early in the early days. But in those days, like that's where you got like the Bitcoin on hard drives. Like that's exactly how that.
Yeah, like you would have to download the whole blockchain for every single coin, and yeah, you're looking at a hard drive, easily 500 roughly 500 gigs for maybe 2 chains. So that might be your that might be your Bitcoin and your Ethereum. I tried to load it up on my old laptop and I come up with a memory issue. So I was just like, shit.
Do you know what was funny? I was talking to somebody at work the other day, and they were saying they thought Bitcoin mining, they honestly thought that what that meant was that people were going to garbage dumps and mining through and trying to find old computers to get literally they believed it so strongly. And I thought, my God, they must be married to somebody just like Tim Danter that would convince them of that. And then they go and tell all their colleagues, because that's something you would have done and made me believe that people were in the garbage dump. And I would have emphatically told somebody that that's what it was.
You know, those stories that start with, I got a friend that's got this problem. She just did that to you guys.
You should have told them they dress like gnomes and they have little pickaxes.
That's right.
A bunch of monkeys.
Tim, can we just switch gears for just a second? Well, Ryan, you say what you're going to say. I'm going to get Tim to put something up on the screen I want to talk about.
Okay,
if I do that, I'm going to block everyone out.
Can you put Len's comment from the Canadian Bitcoiners up where he's saying, Kevin, the government's prepping for a war against Bitcoin? So on a positive note, with respect to at least the infrastructure bill, we all know they were trying to tax the heck out of everyone for $28 billion in revenue. There was a presented amendment today. There was news released maybe 3 or 4 hours ago, so it's pretty fresh. I'm going to talk about it more on my side. I'm sure that Len and Joey will bring it up. Like, it's going to be all around. It's going to be pretty big news. But you remember how in the wording of the bill, basically a ledger could be considered a broker. Hardware and software could be considered broker, and you have to pay certain taxes on it, whatever. So that the new amendment, it's not accepted yet, but is to completely eliminate that. And then to also more broadly define mining to exclude hobbyists and yada, yada. That is already on the CRA website for miners. They're pretty loose on the terminology. So it's already kind of like that in Canada. But for hardware wallet holders, and this is maybe good for companies like Square, who's going to be creating one, this is really good, actually. So there's some good news on the government front, but I'm certain Len and Joey will have a video about it. And again, it'll be on the news tomorrow. I'll talk about it. But anyway, it's not an adopted amendment, but it just got pushed today. So I thought it was interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So just click off of that.
Why do you keep touching my screen?
We're trying to have a conversation, but not have a conversation.
Yeah, it's working, isn't it?
So I wanted
this is going full screen.
That's fine. We'll be blocked off for a sec.
All right. So it's going full screen. You ready?
Yes. So
well,
it's not full screen. So we were watching Stansberry Research, and she had on, Daniela Camboni had this fella on, and he got talking about, whoops, see, I told you had to unblock that comment.
Oh my God.
You have to go up here. Oh my goodness, we're not, just scroll up. No,
scroll up.
Sorry, guys.
Click I love off this channel so much.
Click off of your banners.
Oh my God. Who put that banner up?
Okay. Whoops. Now you've removed the whole thing.
Well, just relax. I'm getting there. Holy
So there was a chart. Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
It was a rainy day.
So what this is the stock market cycle, but from a psychology point of view. So this fella did a really great job of explaining where he felt we were at. And it's a technical analysis, but from an emotional standpoint. And so where I'm going to let each of you give your idea of where you think sentiment wise we're at, either on the crypto market or the stock market, or if you think we're in both on this. So do you know where I'm going with this, Ryan? Because you look like you're confused. Okay, so where do you think? Sorry, where do you think? I'm sorry, and Tim.
Oh, she's spreading the love, man. She's spreading the love. Holy smoke!
So, where do you think, from a psychological point of view,
crypto's going to go down, and I think that that's going to happen sooner rather than later. But I also think that the market doesn't make. I'm so getting more on board with how you think. Where we are in that chart.
Because again, you're looking at it from what I want you to look at it from is the sentiment of where you think the general population is at. Do you think the general population is at thrill? Do you think they're at euphoria? Do you think that they're at complacency, anxiety?
So pick one of those.
Where do you
think they are in the crypto world?
Yeah,
right
no,
now?
I wasn't looking on that side of the chart, to be honest. But I was thinking more or less on the other. I don't see S&P 500 is going up too damn fast on the stock side so consistently. Not to mention, this is an interesting comparison. So I'll say if I'm going to pick a word somewhere between panic and anger, somewhere in one of these dips, okay, on that side of the chart. The 10-year Treasury bond had lowest yields, okay, for the year in February when the stock market was exploding. And the second those Treasury yields started to creep up, market went down. Those Treasury yields are at the February low right around now. Similar kind of euphoria in the market, but it's such a small pump compared to the last one that we saw. I don't think we're on the left side of the chart. I definitely think we're on the right side of the chart. And I heard that unique Treasury bill comparison or Treasury yield comparison today. And I was like, wow. So now it just realigning how I'm looking at that. I'm on the other side. I don't think we're going much, much, much higher.
Okay, so that was Ryan's thoughts on it. Again, I'm going to just go below you, Ryan, to Haas, because you're next in the row. And
is it coming up like that on your screen too, where we're stacked?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, so
that was for Len.
I know. Just from how you believe the people are feeling, the general feeling, and this is investments in general, not necessarily crypto. Do you think that the general population, when they're looking at the stocks or the economy, do you think that they're in optimism, belief, hope, thrill, euphoria, complacency, anxiety, denial, panic? Where do you think people are at?
So, like, I'm going to hazard a guess. Now, this is my guess for the stock market because I truly have no idea with equities. And every time I've said, it's a bubble, it's going to burst, it just hasn't. It's just kept trucking. Whether that's money being printed or whatever, it is what it is. I think the stock market is going to crash. I think something's going to happen there. And I think maybe we're at thrill to euphoria for the stock market. We're not quite over that peak yet because everyone's still super, super bullish. But in my experience, when everyone's really bullish, that's when you need to be a little bit bearish.
True. I can say this, though, because maybe I misunderstood the question and totally was not. But are you so maybe, Haas, you're really thinking that the market is still like just, I'm freaked out.
Hold on. I'm not at all an equities guy. I started investing in stocks and everything else, but I barely understand the market comparison to crypto. And I've people have told me it's super easy to understand both, but the crypto is all I look at. So I'm not looking at the S&P 500 on a daily basis. What I'm just seeing though is it just keeps going up. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It sounds like it should be going down. COVID is now, and we're hearing all about this Delta variant bullcrap, and we're having consistent issues within the United States. But the S&P is still up, right? And maybe it's down on the 5-day, but realistically, it's just been trucking, and I don't understand it. It makes no logical sense in my mind. Maybe I'm completely off base. I think it's going to go down, but I still think that we're on the side of everyone's feeling thrill and euphoria, because if you look at sentiment, and the big thing about markets, the one big thing that I learned with any sort of market is it's all emotions. That's all it is. It's human emotions. We are inherently flawed in our emotions, and we move the markets, not anything else, right? And it's nothing else but us. And if we get scared, the markets dip. That's exactly what happens.
Okay.
Well, hang on, but Haas, what about, and let me I'm going to throw this example out, but remember when Trump tweeted about Boeing, and all of a sudden, what did Boeing stock do?
I can't remember.
It went right through the roof, didn't it?
For all of you Cathie Wood lovers out there, by the way, and who experienced on the stock side of things today the ridiculousness that was going on with the Robinhood IPO this week and how they got stopped out on exchanges today because it got GME'd essentially. It 3x'd in price. It was fluctuating all over the place. Cathie Wood announced that she went pretty dang bullish on Robinhood right when they saw a dip after the IPO, because they all dip after the IPO. Right there, boom, Cathie Wood announcement, and that stock goes full-blown meme on Reddit. It's all over the news. You can check just Reddit and that stock. You're going to find all that. It's insane. But Cathie Wood really pumped the. I mean, so if Elon was a problem, I think it's funny that Cathie Wood is now really. I don't know. It was wild today, actually.
So just wanted to keep on this for 1 second, Ken. Before I say anything, how do you feel about it? How do you feel people, the general population, feels about where we're at in the economy, in the stocks, in life? Where do you think people are at on this chart?
Anxiety. If you're going to throw life into there, I'd say anxiety.
Okay, well, let's take life out because maybe that's not the. I mean, this is is based on stock market cycles and psychology, basically, and so you can apply crypto to this too on some levels.
Stocks, I'd have to agree with Haas. Crypto, though, I think crypto they're probably somewhere in between complacency and anxiety because the market's been going sideways. So when nothing's going up and down, people are pretty complacent.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety of what's going on next.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I feel that we already went through all of that. We went all through, in my opinion, almost down to panic. That's almost how I feel for crypto, because if you think about like how significant that drop was, and like maybe I could be completely off base, but like I think we're still going to trade bearish for another couple months here, even though I know we're green, even though I know people are like getting mad at me saying that no, Haas, we're going to 100K in September. Okay, but like I can't see it happening. I think we're going to keep trading in this trend, and we've been pretty bearish for a little while. So, and a lot of people just got tired. A lot of people exited the market. There was a lot of depression there. That's kind of how I felt with crypto, if I'm going to be completely honest with crypto, which is totally different than the equities market, in my opinion.
Right. So, Ryan.
I was going to say, let me just clear this up for 1 second because I totally answered the question the wrong way. So I want to clear that up. But if you guys look at the chart right now, it's kind of interesting how if you go year to date to current date, that is pretty much what everything looked like on the stocks and crypto side. Anyway, funny enough. So maybe I said I'm somewhere between panic and anger because that's exactly where I am on the time frame. But if I'm thinking about what other people are thinking, I'd say somewhere between thrill and complacency is where I'd put it. So just to better answer that question. But it's just funny how that chart looks almost identical to truly what we felt between January 1st and like right friggin' now. It's just funny how that psychology chart played out to a T 2021.
Right. So why I loved this was it at least gave me a tiny bit of hope about how I'm feeling. And so what watching that Stansberry research thing where he really went on was that the sentiment is between that thrill and euphoria. He said where we're going to get into some scariness is when it comes down on the other side. And he goes, make no mistakes, that's where we're going to come to. And he goes, it's going to keep rising for a little bit longer, but he goes, not that much longer. And then all of a sudden he goes, because it just historically, this is what it's done. And he goes, and Haas was right. We are emotional human beings, and we have all literally gone on this personally and as a general society and multiple times. And I think, Haas, you're right, because he was only talking from the stock side of things, but I think you're right. I think we've done this cycle many times, and we do it quicker in crypto because of the volatility. But I think we're in the sideways action right now. And so they are pretty convinced. Every guest she's had on recently on Stansberry Research is all saying the exact same thing now. They're all saying that this is going to come to an end at some point soon.
I'm going to get a little like, I guess, hocus pocus with you guys, like spiritual in a way. And I would actually encourage people to go look at a chart, go open up TradingView. You just need the free one. Go down to the smallest interval that you can get. I don't know what you can get with the free version. I think upwards of 15 minutes or so. And you'll notice that on that chart, there's ebbs and flows, ups and downs, right? And you'll feel that in your day. You've actually probably heard of something like this, and probably from like motivational speakers, that you would go through ups and downs throughout your day. Everything is a constant ebb and flow throughout our lives. And when you recognize that, you can actually see that in how the charts move. It's wild, but the charts are driven by us. That's what drives us, and that's what drives the charts. We drive the charts. So if you start to realize that, and you're going to realize everything's going to go through this ebb and flow, even at a micro level on a macro scale. So 2017, you saw the 2017 run up. Well, within that run up, there's still ebbs and flows between it all, right? So you can scale in and out no matter how many times. There's always going to be the same ebb and flow. So if you remember that, that's exactly how markets move. That's how human emotion move. Like right now, we're going through a 100-year pandemic. We went through a 100-year pandemic the last 100 years, right? It's a constant cycle of everything. And so I guess it's a little like spiritual and out there.
It's the yin and the yang, man.
It really is. It kind of is. So I don't know.
It's 100%.
But I will say 100% with the markets being emotional, and everyone's like propping up TA, like, you know, people are TA gods. TA is clearly like, it is like astronomy. What's the one, like the Pisces and all that crap?
Oh,
like
astrology.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's astrology for men. It 100% is. You're like doing whatever you can, drawing lines to kind of make a best estimate of what's going on, but everything is driven by human emotion. That's the whole name of the game.
And that's the one thing I will say about men versus women. And in this particular case, because who does look at all those charts all the time? It's all you guys. I can't tell you how many women look at that stuff. Probably a handful. And we probably glance at it and we don't make our decisions based on that. We base it on the emotional side of things, where men aren't really as overtly making decisions on emotion. And yet underlying it all, to Hawes's point, you're trying to make sense of it through these charts when deep down fundamentally you know that their feeling out there is a feeling of unease right now. I overtly say it all the time, and you guys are, to Hawes's point, you're putting it on your charts and trying to make sense of where it's going, because nobody wants to put their foot down and say, oh, I'm feeling uneasy right now. On that note, hi Neil, welcome.
How's it going?
Yo.
Good. We're having weird, in-depth, deep emotional conversations.
Where are you tonight? It looks like you've got rocks behind you. Have you found a cave?
Yes, it's my front porch. It's my cave where I hide.
What happened in the garage?
Nice night to be outside.
I'm
What
trying.
happened to the garage? People get a hold of that already?
It's got a trailer full of my camping gear and our bikes. We're going on vacation tomorrow. We're heading to a provincial park for 4 nights. So
Nice.
yeah,
That is nice.
So I was doing that, and kids trying to, put them to bed. So I'm hiding out here.
As you said in the chat, you've got some nerdy shit. What's your nerdy shit you got?
So I agree. We've been in the shop for a while, so I'm still farming. I did do a little degen. I picked up a little ice token for some yield farming on Define. So that's the only change for me. But it's called Zed Run. Has anyone heard of it before?
No.
So one of the cool descriptions I heard is it's a living, breathing NFT. And it's a horse, but you can race them or you can breed them. And so I just saw this. I don't even know how I clicked on it. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I watched a little bit and read a bit. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. And I'm so into it. Like I'm hoping to move. I'm looking to move stuff and to jump right on in.
What is it, like horse betting? Like legit horse betting? Or
no,
like,
so you would own the NFT, but you can race the NFT if you want. But another person put it as it's a breeding game where you can also race your NFT. So you have, a stallion and a mare, you can breed them, and 1 month later have a colt or a filly and race them or sell them, and you can leave them unnamed and unraced and unbred. And so I hadn't really checked it out before, but I've been like cruising through OpenSea. There's a couple other.
This is like high stakes Neopets, man.
Yeah, wow, yeah, bringing it back, Neil.
Oh my God!
For me, I don't know why, but I find it so cool and fascinating. So they have the one set of horse, which is called the Genesis, and there's only ever going to be 36,000. and I think they've released about 16 to 18,000 so far. But you actually can get one of the more expensive ones, and it's just this really interesting thing. But it's an NFT that, like, Ryan, the one thing you've not liked about NFTs is, like, what do you do with them, right? So this one, you could race them, and if it's a good horse, you would win ETH. Like, every time you race, you put in a little bit of money, but there's pools in there. And I was looking on them, there's been sales of like $200,000 for a horse and stuff like that. Just banana stuff, right? Because it's NFTs, and NFTs are just, but I'm just really interested, and I'm researching more before I do anything. I really want to try and understand it. But like, you can breed them and then sell the offspring.
It would be cool if that was turned into a legitimate gambling network.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be incorporated at some point, is that outside parties could bet on the result. But if you go to Zrun, ZED, and it's run,
there's raise a horse and race it.
So we like
win
we could
money,
have
though.
a stable. We could call it Crypto Night Stable. And we all throw on there, and then we could breed horses, and maybe all of a sudden we have a crazy horse that's super fast, and then someone's like, "Hey, I want to buy it," or like it's. I just think it's fascinating, and I'm ready to geek out and nerd out hard on it. Like I'm ready almost to move all my crypto holdings into this and go all in.
So I've got a stupid question. Although you're talking about all this, and this is a totally serious question. This is no joke. When you get the horses, let's talk about, because you're talking about the horses, right?
Yes.
This isn't like farmland where you got to feed the horses and stuff, is it? Is it just like, I mean, I know that sounds stupid, but do you have to have upkeep for these horses?
You know, you can tell that a guy came up with this because the only thing you can do is race it or get it to have sex.
Oh,
that's it.
100%, right? But the racing, I think,
spits out ETH.
Yeah, and you're going to get ETH out of it too. So it's win-win. But I think it's really interesting because you're going to get the people that just want to race horses, and they're going to create like stables, and there's people popping up with videos and that. So I'm watching some of that, and other people, they're like, "Oh, I'm strictly here to breed them and sell them and make money," because there's only ever going to be 36,000 of this Genesis, and then as it goes down and you breed them, their bloodline like isn't as good, and it's really interesting.
Well, this is more like, if you break it down, this is like staking, really.
True.
Right?
Very, very true.
In a way, right?
And don't say steak to a horse. You never say steak to a horse.
Oh, Tim Danter.
They were
you think about it though, like there is Decentraland property that like I can only imagine some of it is in the millions. Like some of those studios, like some big companies own some of those like studios, like plots of land where they built a studio or a mall in Decentraland. Like I'm sure some of those go into the multi-million dollars for some of those properties. I know like the average property is probably more like in the $1,000 range, but like it's all about real estate. Like where are you? Are you in close to a spawning hub, or are you out in the boondocks? Right. Well, maybe that's going to be a little.
Maybe they have to buy property with stables now for all these horses.
Yeah, maybe.
And Natural Canadian wants to know, where are you guys finding these weird NFTs, Neil?
This was just I can't remember if it was on Twitter. I haven't really been on Twitter lately, but I think it was just like a YouTube video, and I just clicked on it. But I'm just OpenSea, and OpenSea has just got, it's immense. Like I'm still trying to wrap my head on how big that area is, or that exchange is.
So OpenSea.
You know what? I can't even remember. It's on my phone.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it's
like a sea. It's like a sea of water.
Yeah, I think so. And then
you'll find all kinds of NFTs. This one just has the function to race, and in it, I believe, as they set it up, you there's different classes in that you enter. You pay a fee to get in, and then they simulate it 1,000 times, and then they pick one of those simulations as the actual race, and then they show it to you, and you see it in kind of real time happening.
Okay, and Twin World has said Synergy of Sarah Could be a cool game. It is inspired by Magic the Gathering and Dominion, still being developed, though, with hopefully 2022 launch, runs off of the Matic network. And he also put another one in here that says the website playtoearn.net has a big listing of blockchain games that are live or being developed.
Yeah, I would be here's my, okay, like I know nothing about the gaming industry, okay, other than the fact that I've been a gamer my entire life. So as a gamer, let me give you some wise words of advice. Don't invest in anything until you actually know that it's going to do well. A likely example would be something like DayZ, right? DayZ for us Canadians. It looked like this fantastic game. Started out as a mod on an Arma simulator. It was a zombie thing. It was great because great timing, just as Walking Dead was like really hyped up. Everyone was really excited about the game. What did the developer do? Did absolutely nothing. Took the money and just went off to other projects. Didn't finish the game at all. And then opened up the space for tons of other VR games. Now we have like Fortnite and Warzone and all these other games that came out. You're not going to be able to pick the winner, is what I'm trying to say. Only a couple of games have actually lasted and stood the test of time. Like, and we're talking like decades. If you're looking for a long-term investment, look at tokens that are going to build multiple games on it, right? Look at the new gaming infrastructure for what's coming next. I wouldn't be super bullish on individual games, but again, if you think the game is going to be that like World of Warcraft kind of thing where it's around for decades and decades, by all means invest in that, but just be careful.
Hey Ryan, were you a gamer when you were a kid?
No, I've got 2 video games, and I'd be happy to the day I die with 2 style of video games. So I'm not really once in a blue
What
moon.
kind of style? Like, are you the gun 'em up, shoot 'em up kind, or are you like the guy that likes to build villages and plant trees? And
No. I'm either playing like Madden or NHL, which are just diehard classics for any Canadian, and Battlefield.
Games.
So there's one shoot 'em up and then sports, and that's 3 games. Like, okay, 3 games, but no, I'm not really a gamer. But I love it. Let's put it this way though, because I've been part of selected pools in online gaming. Online gaming is the only way you can game. I feel like nowadays it's the best. Like, but selected pools, how like can you not all, or like is it illegal to associate like a pool value to a game or a match or a tournament or whatever? Like, or am I not able to access this through Xbox but can through a PC? Or like, is there not already a way to associate winning ETH without buying a horse? Like, you know, instead of creating a game around ETH or whatever, like have it be integrated into already existing games. Like, I'm just wondering why the focus would be on like new games that are unproven and untested versus like DICE adopting a special network for players, or I don't know, something. Again, I'm not a gamer. I don't know how all that works, but that's where my attention would be focused.
Yeah, well, like that's I think is exactly my point as well, right? If you look at like something like the Engine token, that's like a gaming platform, a blockchain gaming platform. An Engine, any gamer or MMO player, I guess, knows Engine. Like, they've been around for decades, right? So you know, it's a name. I don't know how trusted. I mean, they did websites. They're not really in the blockchain space, but it's a name, and they've been around for a while, and they're one of the best gaming blockchains out there. So that might be something where you focus in more. Mana is doing really good with Decentraland. Like, that's something that I'm personally invested in. At this point, you know, I'd just be very careful about what you're investing in for NFTs and whatnot. Like Ryan said,
you're into Manic, or you're into Decentraland?
Mana, Decentraland.
Yeah.
And is Mana and Decentraland, are they like villages?
So Decentraland, after this podcast, and everyone should go too. After the show, go type in VR chat or even Decentraland. Just go see what it is. It's literally a virtual world. You can run it on your PC. You can literally load up the website, boots it up right there. I believe it has VR integration though. I believe so. So
really?
You can, if you have a VR headset, which is going to be the future, then you can have that. Everyone can hang out in certain areas. Like, literally, there's malls with like Coinbase. Like, Matic has a stadium Like Matic, the blockchain has a stadium in there, like they own a piece of property. There's like a bunch of like, I think BlockFi has a piece of land, a big building, like a BlockFi building. There's malls with a bunch of other like crypto entities that have bought property there. Like it's actually a big deal when you look at it.
Maybe we all need to buy some land and be neighbors.
Well, like here.
I'll water your plants.
Oh, we can do like a crypto night, like neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That'd
We'll have
amazing.
a potluck. We'll have
Nancy,
a potluck.
A crypto corner.
A few months ago, I said that Atari had bought up some space and was creating like this virtual store.
Yeah.
That you could go in and use in the world. It's in Decentraland.
I can fully believe.
They're setting up their shop in this virtual world.
Here's my hot take. I can fully believe at some point somebody is going to get paid to be a receptionist in a virtual lobby, or like a salesperson in a virtual store. We're going to have big speeches by people like in the virtual world at some point. Maybe not immediately, but like we're making those steps. Maybe Decentraland isn't the platform that's going to happen in. Who knows? But like it's getting pretty exciting. Oh, like you never know, like to what extent we're going to use something like
That's
that,
crazy.
right?
Like the pandemic has only accelerated this stuff.
Yeah, completely, and it's made
put
people,
it in turbo.
Yeah, and it's made people realize that shit, we could actually do this. This could be a reality. Whether like this is good or bad for humanity, I think that's an existential question for another day.
I love existential questions. They are my favorite. I love them.
Like I would say we're already on the death march because we have phones, right? We've already like significantly changed our humanity in a drastic way. What's a few VR headsets gonna do? So we
might actually interact more frequently if we had virtual reality headset.
Exactly.
On.
You can read your text right through your eyes while you're making eye contact with the person that you're supposed to be talking.
How about dating in that virtual reality?
Whoa.
Listen, you, Mr. Old School. Maybe you could like. What would that be like? Virtual reality dating.
Well, it should be cheaper. Right?
You think about it in like dating, but you also think about it like
let's go for a walk.
Think about like just like business meetings as well. Like think about like maybe
business meetings for sure, Hans.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
amazing.
Like, think about executives like sitting down in a boardroom instead of like say there's an emergency meeting with the supplier in China. Okay, well, what are we gonna do? Let's throw the execs in a boardroom. You're gonna wait for everyone to fly 18 hours, get jet lag and everything else? No. Get a VR headset, sit down, and you're right there at the table with everyone else.
We practically are in this. We practically are in some kind of a reality in this situation right now. What outside of putting the headsets on and feeling like I'm sitting in the room with you. And the better part of this, I would never, ever, ever have to wear high heel shoes or anything that sucks in my stomach or anything. I could dress myself however I want with the models. I could make my body look whatever way I wanted to. This is exceptionally exciting. I like this whole idea.
I think but it's the reality. What would you rather be? Would you rather be like, and this is going to sound bad. And listen, if you're in this place, that's a clear identifier that you need to change. I was in a spot where I wasn't happy with myself. So what I'm going to say sounds a little fucked up, but there's going to be people that are, it's true. There's going to be people that would feel better in a self-created avatar than their own bodies because of like maybe their current state. Maybe you're out of shape or whatever is going on in your life. Ultimately, you can change anything that you're going through. I'm living proof of that. I promise you. But like people will like escape to a virtual reality, and especially if they can get a job in a virtual reality, if like they can be a receptionist at a virtual lounge or whatever it is. Like this is kind of the future that we're going to. Eventually, that's what we're going to see.
So I see on Facebook when I go to my menu or something, I see Oculus. Is that VR?
Oculus, HTC Vive, and I think there's like a couple of other like budget.
So what's Facebook doing? Having a button for that?
Oh, there's just I guess advertising.
That's their thing. Oculus is owned by Facebook, is it not?
Oh, is it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Can we go back before we go into Oculus? I'm thinking.
No, we're not going into Oculus.
No, because my mind is now going down to what Haas just said, and now I'm thinking a few things through, and this is where my mind goes in all of this, is just that at the end of the day, there are moments in time where you think about, up until now, we've been voyeurs, all of us. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're looking at things. We're a voyeur. We're watching into somebody else's things, whether it's a TikTok video or any of that stuff. When you're talking VR, you're talking, now we go from being voyeurs to being participants in the reality that we choose. And many of us have been born into situations where we may never, ever, ever recognize or see the kind of wealth that a Paris Hilton has, that even Jeff Bezos, all those guys. I know that they created their wealth. I'm not disputing that. But when you talk about virtual reality, people can create that Kardashian experience in and have that kind of life in a weird sort of participatory manner that they never before could we ever have dreamt of having.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm going to say on this, because not to take look, I like the NFT space if we can bring it into a more relevant space in my life. But what Haas and Nancy are saying, kill me if I ever put on a freaking visor to go socializing or on a date. Seriously. I honestly, that's the one thing, is there's maybe a few people, I can't mentally wrap my head around how that would be a reality for anyone outside of a small subset. Like,
I think it's a much larger subset than you're thinking.
I think it's way more generational than anything.
Oh, yeah.
Like I think it's even outside of our generation, right? I don't like. I think I'm just an exception because I'm a tech guy, right? Like I love tech. But this is going to be like future generations. You know, it's going to take a lot for people to adopt something like this. And like people won't, like, is simply like us, like our generations won't adopt
like,
something
we're talking
like this.
Outside of just video games, like we're talking VR for legitimate social situations.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Yes. We're talking about like concerts maybe in VR. Movie showings for premieres on new movies. You can
that
VR,
could be cool, though,
like. Well, like think about that, like a premiere, like a celebrity premiere, brand new movie coming out, and you all watch it in VR with like your good friends from Italy and France and wherever else, right? Like that is like the reality. But like some people are going to have to work in that reality, right? And some people are going to be able to dress up their avatars and make themselves feel a lot better about themselves because their real life is just so shitty. No, I do think
where it's
so.
going. I mean, it's like,
it's crazy. It's
like
but you even think about, even from a business point of view, my team has come up with some really cool ways to do business this last year where we're interacting in many different formats. In fact, I was almost considering giving everybody a link on this channel and letting us do a virtual meetup where all the viewers can participate with us. All they have to do is log in. We all log in at the same time. We have a little icon of our heads, and you push your head against. I push my head against your head, and now we open up a room and we can have a conversation with each other. So my team has found this platform that's really, really good for networking type of things. Now, what's the next step of that would be, instead of me just sitting and watching in this type of a format, if we were in a headset and I could actually be participating and playing a game of pool, or, you know, I try to think of all the things that we were doing at live virtual networking events. Those are things that we could do in a virtual situation.
Yeah. And distance is no longer a factor, right? Like, we might not think about it like as that big of a deal as COVID starts lightening up. Everyone's getting vaccinated, so you know things are opening up, and everyone's able to get back to work in a lot of capacities, which I'm hearing much about. But unfortunately, I'm literally last up on my list because I don't do any paperwork in my office, so I'm looking like 2024 for me. But for the most part, it allows people to actually have those, face to face, if not actually face to face. And yeah, it could be applied to people across the world, right? It doesn't have to be people that are living in the same town. So it does kind of, in a weird way, like we're already separated. Here's the one thing that I will say is we're already separated in society, because what do you do when you're with somebody? Even like I've been on some like weird dates too, where like the girl is just like stuck on her phone. Like there's no interaction between two human beings. Is that going to change? In a weird way, VR kind of would bring us together, or at least the newer generation together, because you see these kids too. And I hate saying these kids as a 31-year-old, but you see these kids too, and they're just on their phones. It's just, that's all it is. So in a weird way, yeah, like maybe it does kind of bring us together in a weird, sick way. But I think humanity's already like down that rabbit hole anyway.
This pandemic has only accelerated that whole area. This is just, online schooling, working from home, all this and that. I doubt unless we go to a small little town in Greece or Italy, will ever return to what it was like before.
Well, and to Tim's point, or an expansion of that, as bad as this sounds, I mean, I'm older of all the people on the call, not as old as you, but
whoa.
Anyways, I always push that into his face. But at the end of the day, I'm fascinated by this, and I would love to try and see what this world is like. It makes me actually want to dive down into this world a little bit and go, well, what does this look like? So that I can, instead of just speaking at it from what I theoretically think it is, that I want to be able to speak with it with some kind of knowledge, similar to how when we first discovered a year ago cryptocurrency, I didn't want to just kind of on the surface know it. I wanted to dive deep into it and get a better understanding of who it is, why this is important. That's just me and how I'm made up. Does it not intrigue you on some level to do this?
Nancy, I actually hold on, Hoss, one second, because I have a question. I was wondering if maybe it's an age gap thing, because for me, VR outside of gaming, I can't really picture it, for instance. But then you're talking about VR alongside Haas in a totally different sense with like Decentraland. And is that maybe an age thing in that I'm not like, because you're picking up on things that I'm not in, like I'm not even thinking about.
I don't think it's an age thing. Sorry, and I don't mean to like put words in Nancy's mouth, but like I think it's more of like
interest.
It's interest, but it's also like a side of like tech interest, and I think experience too has a lot.
I was going to say, because I was thinking the alternative would be maybe I've really got to open my mind outside of what I'm used to, gaming space, yada yada yada, and I can't really think anywhere beyond that. I mean, I haven't even been to their website, so I don't know.
Have you ever watched like Black Mirror or something?
Yeah, the first season.
Okay.
But...
so I'm just going to describe a episode to you. So in one season, I think it's the third season or so, there's like this game, like everyone's within this game, everyone lives in a tiny little cell with a bunch of ads being played to them all the time. The main character is working out and has a love interest that's kind of working out, but they never talk to each other. It's all virtual. And then she gets a bunch of fame in the virtual world, and or in the world, and everyone sees her virtually, and she gets thrown down. It's this huge, like, I guess, like cautionary tale of being famous in like a virtual setting, and how people, like when you enter a virtual setting, how anonymous you feel. But in that like episode, it kind of makes you realize the alternate purpose of what stuff like VR could do, right? And when you think about it too, if you think about it to the extreme of how our children learn right now, right? Specifically how our children learn. And I actually like, on my channel, I made an old channel trailer where I discuss this, that children will one day learn with VR headsets. And we see this right now. Children aren't going to school. It would be way better to have a child sit on the couch with a VR headset up and then sitting in class doing everything in class in VR, and then the teacher will get up, okay, do jumping jacks, go do break, whatever the teacher has in their lesson plan. But it increases the ability for us to reach some people that we haven't been able to reach before, and it kind of opens up what we could do in the world. I know it's hard to wrap your head around some of the stuff because even what I'm saying is far out.
Trying
there,
to be like a dick when I say this, but it's I almost hope it doesn't get to be like that, where the priorities shift to a virtual world and a virtual self, and it just freaks me out, man.
Yeah, I know, but except let me
lazy.
No, I don't even think it's
everybody lazy.
It's going to throw a massive kink into the economy because
look how society is right now,
and how
society is all depicted
look at automation, right? When automation happens, what are you going to do if you have a choice between a job that you're working at McDonald's or for whatever wage, or you're working as a receptionist in a VR lounge? That's going to be a pretty easy decision for some people.
Well, yeah, dollar for dollar, yeah.
If your entire kind of area of employment is in a space that genuinely produces nothing outside of entertainment value, then it's a big enough shift in the economy. If it's a big enough shift, then the inflation is going to be through the roof on regular aspects of our life continuously forever, just because of the fact that there's a zero net gain outside of literal emotional feeling in this entire thing.
Can I?
Because you can go to sorry, Nancy. I was going to say you can go to physical, but I guess it would come down to then I guess.
Okay, no. Go to this space, Ryan, because I know you'll recognize this. You and I are both Trekkies. We like Star Trek, right? You like your Star Trek, yes, right? Okay. Now, in the Next Generation, the Star Trek, The Next Generation, a few of my favorite episodes, one of them was when they go into the virtual reality room and they can put in whatever scenario that they want, and then they are operating in that scenario. They aren't sitting on the couch.
Nancy,
and
I get it. It's just not appealing to me whatsoever. What I'm saying is just for instance, if there was Decentraland shopping mall and I had stuff to buy online or whatever, I wouldn't see a difference between that and Amazon outside of maybe the cool little experience. I'm just not getting the full-blown adoption of a second life. They had an episode of The Office where they were kind of making fun of Dwight and his second life. It was literally called Second Life. And then Dwight dressed himself up the exact same way he looked in real life, and no one understood why, and they laughed at him for it. But it's and that's what I'm thinking is I can't imagine it. And that's why I'm asking these questions
I know, but think about, we've already been tickling our toes with this a little bit. When you think about the Wii, so to Haz's point, when he said education, where the kids are going to be on the couch, they're going to be in a virtual reality. If they're not just going to be learning about science by watching a TV thing, now they're going to be in and can explore the planets in a virtual reality world. But then, okay, science is over. Now it's gym class. And you think about the technology we had with the Wii game, where you could bowl, you could play tennis. She could go, we're all playing tennis or we're all playing volleyball, and everybody stands up and they're doing their whatever.
No, Nancy, I get it. I think I'm picking apart. Maybe I'm going too deep into the weeds, because the only thing I'm focused on is I'm not going to throw glasses on to go to a party with my boys in their fake mansion on Decentraland. I think where you are.
Yeah, I think where you are, and probably where your boys are going to be. I think where you are ultimately is not at a place that you would use a service like this. And I don't even think that I'm specifically the demographic. I truly believe that this is something of the future. I mean, people rejected a lot of things in new technology. People rejected computers. People rejected a lot of things. For a long time, I've thought VR was the future. Ever since I put on a VR headset,
it's amazing.
There's a lot of capabilities. To Nancy's point, imagine when you can take a child on a school trip to the Marianas Trench, right? Or
for sure, yeah,
to Pluto. Something like that is immensely powerful to help our children learn. But I get what you're saying, and I also my point about like, is this good, right? Because the existential question, like, is this actually good for humanity? I would just say that we've been past that. We've been past that since we have technology. We're totally far past what humanity is at this point, in my opinion. Like humanity, like before, the internet, before like instant knowledge in everyone's hand. That I would say is way more groundbreaking than VR ever will be.
Well, because to Gary's point, nothing beats being at a location and a touch and a feel. Like I can get into a lot of this. Like I actually would really love to explore this idea a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I got him to come home and cuddle with at the end of the day. What does the person that doesn't have that have? And how is that going to affect us emotionally and psychologically in the long run?
It's just because I can't wrap my head around it doesn't mean I'm not interested in it, or certain aspects of it I can't wrap my head around. But it is cool. Like, can you imagine if, for instance, we all had an Oculus and anyone in the 200 people on a big night in the winter, for instance, like, and we were all there's obviously use case. It is really, really cool. It's the Decentraland thing that always gets on the back of my mind where I'm like, that.
Well, don't even think about Decentraland. Decentraland, like, is a total, like, I think we're more talking about like VR capability at this point.
Oh, I thought we were saying that you can do Decentraland, like,
like hypothetically you can. Like, no, you absolutely can, but it's still, like, it's still brand new. Like, it's all brand new. Like, Decentraland isn't anything of substance other than like a nice big map and people build buildings. Coinbase has a center and things like that.
Oh, don't talk about Coinbase. They just got a class action suit against them.
Oh no! Oh geez.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, there's a lot of regulatory lawsuits happening and stuff happening because of that. Oh, what was that lawsuit from? Like a holder? Or?
No, it's one second. It was Mark Lazarick.
While Tim's looking for it, I will say that Candace is always good for a solution to our virtual reality touching problem. She says we need are cats.
There you go. I mean,
so
if you watch... go ahead.
So it's press release, shareholder action alert. The Shaw law firm announced the filing of a class action lawsuit against Coinbase Global Inc. and encourages investors with losses in excess of $100,000 to contact the firm.
Nice. I mean, screw Coinbase.
And they have till September something of this year to
lose it.
File, get on the thing. Investors who purchased
to lose another 100,000 or to lose 100,000 to jump in.
Yeah, investors who purchased the company's shares pursuant and or traceable to the company's initial public offering conducted in April 2021. The IPO are encouraged to contact the firm before September 20th, 2021.
Oh, I wonder if there was some sort of manipulation happening in the good old
No, Haas,
market.
that doesn't happen. We're in an honest world.
That's true. I should think better about humanity.
It's all lollipops and roses.
All on the up and up, guys. Everything's good. The money is there, as the CEO from Tether says. The money is there.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to get a horse. I'm going to
there.
ride off to my virtual sunset.
Dude,
Yes, will you be a white knight in a knight in shining armor? Is that what you're going to do? You'll be a white horse?
No, I'm going to be stealth.
Oh, stealth.
Nobody can see me, hear me.
Record it on your computer, dude, and send it to me by email. I want to see the actual. That'd be cool if it was. Is it like a real visual race?
Yeah.
Dude, record it.
I'll send you a link. I haven't bought anything. I'm trying because right now,
you know who's making.
It's at least $500 for a Genesis horse.
I just want to say something really quick, Redbeard. All the VR dates, weddings, and everything. I would much rather a VR baby. That way, I can shut it off at the end of the night. Just say it. Okay, that's why I don't have a child.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's a new social disease, VR.
Yeah.
No more
man.
VD.
All I know is my one experience with VR playing Star Trek was freaking stupid. It was insane. When I say stupid, I mean I can't even find a word to describe it. It was the best thing that I've ever done. It was. You
get motion sickness at first, and then you start getting used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Dude,
it's
epic.
the same as I come from driving simulators, so it's called SAS, which is stability. I forget what there's an acronym of SAS, but there's some people who can do it and some people who can't, because in my industry, I've often looked at Oculus for what I do in the driving industry, right? But it's a matter of how do I tape it. And I think what I have to do is I have to become almost like a Google car with a GoPro 360 and just drive all the streets and stuff. I think that's how it works. I don't know.
Yeah, you just get the 360 camera, I guess, if you're like doing the environment, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know, but I know there's a huge market for that in the U.S.
Massive,
and Canada,
massive.
for especially for the seniors and for dementia and for in the medical field. It's huge market for that.
So can we go back for a second? So Neil, you're going to be horse racing.
Is that the French in you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you're going to be doing that potentially, yes.
Potentially.
And Mr. Ken, are you going to go into any of these lands and maybe
you know where he's
buy
at?
a
You
plot
know where
of
he's at.
land?
He's
Or
giving the dog a bone.
He may go because he's into Theta. Maybe he's going to be a TV producer and produce the next latest greatest movie that's going to be shown on the Theta network. And Haas, what are you going to do? Are you going to be going on virtual reality dates?
I think I might be picking up some virtual property and maybe look at some nice areas kind of thing.
I'd love to actually see pictures of these NFTs though, because I know Neil, you don't have a channel or whatever, but if you're on here, I'd love to see the video, or Haas on your. I don't know.
I would too. If you guys do it, can you somehow take pictures or screen shares at least, so the next time you come on, we can have a look at it. Redbeard says he's going to be a virtual reality Shiba breeder, and I think Ryan. Considering Ryan doesn't buy into any of this, Ryan, would you go to a virtual reality cocktail party and do some dancing on the dance floor?
No, that's officially where you guys have to go kill me. But will I play virtual reality games? Yeah, totally. Or VR. I mean, if there was a way for me to watch a VR game that I had bet money on, for instance, that's another story. But I'm never gonna go on a date VR. Just kill me.
Okay.
No.
Well, how about buying a virtual piece of property, and I could be both yours and Haas's interior decorators.
I want to see what Haas picks up, and I want to to be honest, I'm more interested in freaking raising horses now. So I want to see what these NFTs are all about.
Ryan's going over to race horses.
It grabbed me. Yeah, it just grabbed me, man. I don't know why. I think it's neat.
I want to race the Excalibur of horses.
You watch. It's going to go to NASCAR. It's going to go to Formula. It's going to go this. I'm sure it's out there already.
It's probably the most interactive slot machine known to man at the end of the day. So it's a little bit more interesting than going to the casino. So that's pretty sweet.
Well, listen, and Keto Lion says no VR dating. Well, I can tell you two people that will be having no VR dating. Unless we put our glasses on and go on a date and pretend we're someplace.
Say goodnight,
just sitting on the couch here.
The whole Netflix and chill thing would take on a whole new meaning and would suck. So I don't know how many people are going to be into it.
Oh man. Anyways, this did have something to do with crypto, because this is that NFT space that we just don't seem to really fully have a grasp on. But see how we've talked about it, and we can, if we talk long enough about it, we can start to get a glimpse at the applications of it, because I just think we're not thinking big enough about where the world is really going to and really at. And if we could get our heads completely wrapped around it, we might be like Haas, running out to buy plots of land in the virtual reality world, because Raoul Paul thinks that's where the world is going. He honestly believes it.
Yeah, like as a closing argument to it all. Like for me, it's you have scarcity, right? You're not having any more land being made, which is exactly like real life. You can get it dirt cheap in certain areas that might be actually pretty populated as more companies are buying, and like maybe like the world starts building out in these certain areas. There's development plans for certain areas, so you can look into areas and pick those areas because okay, like this is going to get built here in the next year or so. Like it's actually like looking at it from a real estate mind and seeing, okay, like this is by a road, this is going to increase in value. That's what I'm looking at for Decentraland. I think it's cool. I'm going to throw a little bit of money in. I'm going to be happy with whatever I buy, and I'm going to have a Haas Hodels plot for everyone in Haas Hodels and you guys that can come on and see my property and mess around, all of cool stuff and NFTs that I can hang up there. But that's just what I'm doing. I'm not investing a lot of time in it. I'm a main holder, so I just hold my tokens and be happy with what I got.
Hey, Neil, is that the full link you sent?
By the way,
yeah, I just had that in the back. So if you
can
just look up,
can I publish
no,
that?
it's not working. It's
it's not working.
I would just go to OpenSea and then do Zed Run Horse, and it will pop up.
All right.
They have occasional drops on the site, but you've got to be quick apparently.
Yeah.
Surprise.
You guys, this
horse
was
droppings.
Horse droppings. Oh my goodness. Anyways, this is like Shiba bones. There's so many things. Anyways, you guys were awesome tonight. I really actually very much enjoyed this conversation. I like all of these existential conversations, if you can't tell. And I think it makes life really interesting, and especially during the times we're living right now where life just feels like an endless rerun Groundhog Day, so to speak, as I'm being told to prepare for wave 4 by my largest customers. I feel like, I would like to live in this existential world where I'm not limited by what I can do. So anyways, thank you so much for your time tonight. As always, you can find Ryan at the HiRye channel. And Tim, I thought you were putting up the banner so people can see.
I'm sorry.
Before we leave off on Haas, if Decentraland forces me to put a mask on my avatar, I'm out.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. It's not to wear a mask.
I say, so there it is. Buy a piece of land in Decentraland. This one?
Yes.
That is mask free.
Oh yes, you'd make your own rules in your land, Ryan. But totally. That's right. So for sure, you can see Ryan at the HiRye channel, and we'll see you on Sunday night, Mr. Ryan Hemsley, and then Haas. Thank you so much for your time again today, and you can find Haas at Haas Hodels. And Neil, this was great. You certainly sent us down a rabbit hole with our horse racing, and Ken, as always, your insights are very, very insightful, and. I hope you have a good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. It's been fun.
Night all.
Goodbye.
Take it easy.
Good night.